Welcome to Sailing Vessel Wazamoya.
On this trip, our adult kids and a friend came to visit us as we traveled up the Exuma chain to Nassau. The first section was from Emerald Bay to Georgetown and then up to Musha Key.
Emerald Bay is part of Sandals Resort, and we enjoyed some upmarket facilities before we took a sail down to Georgetown. Georgetown is a true cruising community, and on this trip there were over 100 boats in the harbour. The centre of activity is the famous Chat and Chill, and we were soon off to play with the stingrays.
That one's nice over there.
Why don't I just drop that one?
Oh, really? They want it? Oh, you just want little pets right here. Oh, yeah.
There's another one. There's another one.
They're all fighting over it.
This one might be hungry. On Christmas Day, we were pleased to know that we made the nice list as we got a visit from Mr. and Mrs. Claus and an added surprise of a visit from a dolphin and her calf.
I worked very hard on the day making a poiki, that is a stew, and enjoyed it and more with other cruisers and salty dogs.
Hey, Dad's gonna try.
The folks at Bowley's put in a good show at the conch blowing competition. Robin even tried pumping some air into these old lungs.
A great day with family and friends.
A quick visit to town on our dinghy before sailing to Musha Key. Austin even tried fishing for shark.
David Copperfield owns Musha Key, and nearby he put a mermaid and a piano in the ocean to dive on.
This unusual sculpture requires a long dinghy ride with 5, and we noticed a cave on the way that we visited when we returned.
There's a bunch of like little cones in it.
The clear water nearby was a fun place to swim and to see a bit of wildlife, like crabs, turtle and stingrays.
On the way back, our dinghy was now a little less inflated. The next part of the trip took us to Staniel Key, Big Majors, onto the Land and Sea Park, and then to Norman Key. Staniel Key is becoming an upmarket place, but still a great place for a meal and to play with the sharks.
There's a big one.
Join them. Come right up, buddy. Come right up to us. Walk right up to them. They won't be ready.
Austin.
Thunderball is famous for the James Bond movie of the same name. You enter through a partially underwater hole and immediately are surprised by the spectre.
Feeding the fish brings a large school, and even on exiting you get the beauty underwater. The famous pigs come out to meet you hoping for food. If you don't have food, they can be aggressive, and I have bruises to attest to that.
Just straight, just straight.
Clear water and a visiting shark closed off that visit. Sailing again, we had a ton of excitement hooking a few fish until we landed at lovely mahi mahi that made great sushimi.
This is taking forever.
No!
Take that down.
Huh?
We're gonna pull this in.
It's going off.
No, it's still on. It's still on. It just saves battery.
What if... You're gonna have to get him on that quick. Yeah?
Do you have
I have a gaff right there.
That's beautiful.
Run!
Run! Right here. What do I do? Just spray it on him?
In his gills. Okay.
Just spray rum all over the boat.
Shroud Key in the Land and Sea Park is a favorite of mine, and this time we towed the kayaks and cruised the mangroves, seeing unspoiled vistas and quite a few turtles. Off to Norman's Key, where we dove on the crashed drug smuggler's plane and its artificial reef that attracts all sorts of wildlife. The last leg was the 36 miles to Nassau across water that never gets deeper than 20 feet.
This time we explored the town a bit and were surprised by some of the sights, like the Queen's Stairs hewn into the rock and the festive town. The rest of New Providence is also worth a visit, but New Year's was a real treat. Phew! Time to rest.
Follow us on Facebook or our website as we enjoy the many experiences in the Bahamas.